All right, Shalom. All praises to YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, the one teacher who taught us this truth. This is your brother Yeshamai from the GMS Atlanta camp, and what you're looking at here is a picture that I took yesterday of a rainbow. And we know what the rainbow is, right? It's it's the promise that YAHAWASHI gave to Noah that he would never flood the earth again, right? It was a covenant. Okay, after judgment came, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai showed his prophet a sign that he would be with him. All right, and that is a sign of mercy and grace, man. And those two words, those are two words that I'm consistently repeating every day when I'm sending my prayers of mercy and grace, because that's really all that we can ask for, mercy and grace, because the scripture says all have sinned and fallen short of the glory, man. Really, you know, we deserve death, man, but through the mercy and grace of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, man, he's sustaining us. And so I want to go into what this photo is about. We had a power outage yesterday. It happened around 5 p.m. And, the temperature was hot. I was at my house and the power went out just suddenly. Now, when the power went out, I thought that the power was going to come right back on because, I live out in the sticks. And so sometimes, the power kind of flickers. It comes back on. And so after a couple minutes of the power not coming back on, I was like, oh, okay, well, let's see what's going on. So, um, hey, I'll say this. My cell phone battery was on like 20%. Um, and, I'm checking what's going on in as far as outages in my area. So I looked up the power company and it said that the outage should be fixed by like 9:45. Well, that didn't end up happening. So um, the temperature was pretty warm. Now the power went out. No AC, no internet, no TV. The fridge isn't cooling. So, I started kind of looking things up, how long can a fridge stay cool for? Which the answer is 4 to 6 hours if you don't open up the doors. The freezer stays cool for 24 to 36 hours. So there was things that, I'm kind of prepping, when this happened, the first thing that came to my mind was like, okay, this is a test. This is how it's going to be. Let's get through it. And so, I was able to observe how people in my own family were reacting. Okay. Now, I've got things, for backup and, Salakia for the long intro, but I'm just kind of trying to, set, set the theme of what was going on. We're going to get some scriptures, but I was going, I've got things, for backup, which, all praises to Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, and, for water for the brotherhood, man, because, hey, it's very important for us to pay attention to what's being said in the chats, all right? Because brothers will post stuff every now and then of, like, survival stuff, like a perfect example is a brother several weeks ago posted these light bulbs that are rechargeable, and they have a 6 hour charge, man. Like they last for a long time. So I bought 2 boxes of them for like $40. So when the power goes out, it's 5 o'clock. The sun's gonna set. The house is starting to get hot. And so I'm already planning, okay, like, so this is what I'm going to have to do. I got this, I got candles, I got these bulbs, I got a small generator. But the point is that while I'm making all these movements, and I'm telling myself, this is a test, first thing I do is I get straight into the scriptures, man. It was, I'm going to say this, it was quiet. And I'm sure brothers have gone through, power outages. I'm not the only one. That's not what the video is for, man. The video here is for to help build brothers up in the faith. Because as I'm going back and forth, on my property, digging things up that I've got for emergencies, um, a rainbow showed up, man, and that to me was comforting. All right, because that is Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai showing us that He has us, even in these small times of testing. Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai has us. I want to get 1 Corinthians 2, verse. I'll start at 14. The point is at 15. It says, "But the natural man receives not the things of the Spirit of the Most High, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them because they are spiritually discerned." Man, one thing about this truth, and one thing that I caught on to very quickly, was brothers are very spiritual, man. Small things like when we see the 144 on license plates, buses, the time, the odometer, those things may seem, small, but they're not. See, they may seem small if that flesh is acting up, man. That's why the scripture says that we have to crucify our members daily, man. We have to. This flesh has to decrease, and our spirit has to increase, because only through the increase of the spirit and wisdom that comes from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, only then can we appreciate the signs, man. Because when shit hits the fan, not if, but when shit hits the fan, we are going to have to be, we, we are, we are going to have our spiritual binoculars slash glasses on, to the 10th degree. Because when the power goes out, you know, and again, this was a small test, but when there's no power, when you haven't eaten for days, when your kids are crying, when your significant other is looking at you and, what are we going to do? Hey, man, we're going to have every bit of edification. And Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai could be sending signs, but if you're not able to spiritually discern them, man, you're gonna miss them. And in missing those signs, that that is gonna be you're basically going to be missing your edification, and you're gonna be missing your boosters, I guess, man. I'm not sure what term to use here, but these when I saw that rainbow, I I said, "The water Yahweh Hashem Yahweh." I lifted up my hands in prayer. I prayed over my household and said, "Yahweh Hashem Yahweh, Baba Kashah, help me get through this, sustain me, give me the wisdom." And because my phone wasn't on 20%, I got straight into the scriptures, man. I picked up, my sword, right? An actual sword, which is, I'm sure brothers have this, but, it's very important to have the Apocrypha, and very important to have an actual Bible at your house, because when shit hits the fan, man, you're not going to be able to go onto your phone and look up what these words mean, man. And that's very important too. We're going to get a scripture on that, but just to finish off the point here, this is 1 Corinthians 2:15. It says, "But he that is spiritual judges all things, yet he himself is judge of no man." The point is that the spiritual man is going to be able to seek out signs that Yahweh Hashem Yahushai sends us, man, in these trying times. I want to take you to the account of Elijah and Elisha when they were being chased by their enemies. And Elisha, you know, asked Elijah, "What are we going to do?" And Elijah prayed that Yahweh Hashem Yahushai opened up the eyes of Elisha so that he could see the chariots of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, man. See, once Elisha saw those chariots, his faith was built up, man. But prior to that, he wasn't able to see the spiritual signs being sent by Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. We have to pray that Yahweh Hashem Yahushai increases us in spiritual vision. All right, now more than ever in these difficult times, things are about to get much more difficult. And if you're not able to see the chariots of Yahawah, if you're not able to see the spiritual signs, man, you you may falter. You may falter. And so now, where we are now, we have to continue to seek more. All right, this isn't gonna be a long video. This is Isaiah 55:6. It says, "Seek ye Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near." This is what we're supposed to do. While we have the ability to get these words in the blue letter, while we have the ability, because we bring the scripture out, when we are rebuking our people, calling them to come into the truth. But this scripture, doesn't the scripture say that the word of Yahushua is sharper than any two-edged sword? It cuts both ways. This scripture also applies for us. We have to seek more and more wisdom while we have the ability to, man. Because where where do we get the edification and the increase in wisdom? Well, first and foremost from Yahweh Shai, but the tools such as the blue letter, when we can go in and get the root and meanings, you know, that's how that edification comes, man. And so at this point right now, we have to be filling our lamps with oil. We have to be seeking as much as we can, because that time is coming, man. That time is coming when you're not going to be able to go into the blue letter, man. We have to call upon him while he is near, and then he will answer. All right, he will answer. Isaiah 33:6. We bring this up, man, and this was a precept that came to mind as soon as I saw that rainbow, man. It says, "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and the strength of salvation." The fear of Yahweh Hashem El Shai is his treasure. There's a lot to get here, right? The wisdom that we get while we're able to get it is gonna be what sustains us, man. Because it, for my neighbors, uh, man, these people are not prepared, man. They they don't have these, they may have some candles, they may have some flashlights, but they don't have, a little bit of extra food. They don't have, certain. They're not planning for when shit hits the fan. That's not what they're planning for, man. These people, without this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man, people, you would go nuts, man. When I saw the sign that Yahweh Hashem El Shai put in the sky, man, that was very comforting, man, because, it reminded me, man, it don't matter what happens, man. Yahweh Hashem El Shai got me, and I don't say that, in boasting, not boasting in myself, but boasting in Yahweh Shai, as the scriptures talk about, man. That, that, that image, man, that strengthened me, man. I got straight into the scriptures. And, I'm going to have you know this, that even though they said that the power was going to come back at 10 o'clock, I wasn't trusting in that, man. But I'll say this. Do you know what time the power came back on? The power came back on at 1:44 a.m. I kid you not. The power came back on at 1:44 a.m. All right, because the lights, by then, I'm already asleep, but because we had left the lights on in our room, the lights came on at 1:44 a.m. I woke up and turned them off. I had moved my milk and my eggs from the fridge. I had moved them to the freezer, okay, because those, again, the fridge can only hold that temperature from 4 to 6 hours. So I had moved it to the freezer to, save my milk. And so, I went back out and took them out the freezer, put them into the fridge, turned off all of the lights. But the point was, man, is that Yahweh Hashem El Shai had sustained us, for water, for his mercy and grace, for water, for him sustaining, me and my family and the brothers and their family, man. That I was able to have you know, um, I was able to use a small generator that I had bought from Harbor Freight, and that's what we were using to stay cool. Matter of fact, it's right here because I was, looking up online, how long can it, how long can this thing run? But yeah, this is it, man. 574 now, but this thing it powered my fan. It powered, of course, my phone charger. Um, I was charging my rechargeable bulbs, and I was able to boil some water on this electric teapot. I was able to boil some water and make me a cup of noodle soup, man. So it just was beautiful, man. It was a beautiful trial, and I wanted to do this video just to, to show brothers, man, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai got us, man. Isaiah 59, verse 19. It says, so shall they fear the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai from, and check out what time it is too, 11:44, man. Ain't that spiritual? When this video is going up. It says, Isaiah 59, verse 19 says, so shall they fear the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai shall lift up a standard against him, man. This man, seeing that rainbow, taking a photo of that rainbow, man, that's a faith booster. That's Yahweh Bashim Yahushai showing us, hey, I'm gonna lift up a standard for you. I've got you. I've not forgotten you, man. All right. The Most High didn't, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai didn't call us into this truth, have us go through struggles, increase us in wisdom just for him to leave us alone, man. No. Matter of fact, labor of love. Let's get that. Labor of love. And I think what I'm going to do too is I'm going to show these light bulbs. Says, this is Hebrews 6 and 10. It says, for the Most High is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, which ye have showed toward his name, and that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister. Man, how about you, man? I'm not going to forget everything we've done, man. The videos, we don't earn our salvation, but, we get mercy and grace shown to us, right? Mercy and grace gets shown. Doesn't the scripture say charity covers a multitude of sins? Well, what's charity? Charity, these videos are charity, Also, of course, they're helping brothers out when they're in need, but these videos, this is the ultimate form of charity. Calling our people unto the truth, saving souls. This is the multitude of sins that is being covered. This is how the multitude of sins is being covered, man. And so the point is that that Yahweh Hashem Shai sees the work we do. He's gonna take us all the way through to the finish line for his name, Ezekiel 36, so that his name can be glorified in the eyes of the heathen, man. Then that standard is gonna be lifted up, man. But I think that's pretty much it. Not a long video, but hey, endure. Yahweh Hashem Shai has us. And until the next one. Oh yeah, but Salakia, I wanted to show these bulbs too. What's the bulbs here? They're like label bulbs or something like that. Label bulbs, labo bulbs, something like that. See now I've got to find it. Rechargeable. I just was Googling it too, man. If I remember, I'll post a link. Recharge light bulbs. Let me see if I can select it, man. I got them from Amazon. Right here. Right here. These are the ones I got right here. Dable bulbs. Yeah, that name wasn't coming. Dable bulbs. Yeah, $35, man, for a 6-pack. And these things are really cool, man, because you can charge them. Basically, you would replace the bulb that you have in your house with these bulbs, and every time that you turn your light switch on, it's charging it. Okay, and so they have these like buttons too here. They have uh let me see. Yeah, right there. There, you can't see it. It's right here. It's got that little hanger, but that button turns it on and off. And if you lose that button, it's even cool because if you just, wet your thumb and then you put your thumb on the bottom of that bulb, it turns on too. But one of these bulbs, so they all come factory charged, I guess. One bulb lasted me like 4 hours. Um, you know, uh, and that was already charged from the factory. So, yeah, man, these are it. Debo bulbs, man. So, until the next one, shalom.